कर लें ताकि आपको फुल मैच लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग देखने को मिल सके। इसके अलावा 4 जून को नेपाल
looked convinced underneath it, did he? Mark Watt, but somehow he's held on, and from his very final delivery, Brandon McMullen has found a way to get a 3-wicket haul in the Penrith falls.
Well, playing across the line, it's been a day for top strong here. I think that's been swirling and swirling. Mark Watt just at the very end drops down. Very difficult in this wind, but what a turnaround from McMullen, and finishes off with 3 wickets. Didn't look anything like taking one in his first 2 spells, but this has been quite brilliant from McMullen. And now things do get much more difficult for Nepal. $176 for 5 with 15 overs remaining. You're seeing now for the first time that required run rate has just crept up over 8. Scotia, new batter in. Now sticking with the batting order as originally slated. Now, McMullen's bowled out.
This is what Scotland do so effectively. Even if they don't quite have the scale of penetration in the attack that they would like, they find a way. Now, Nepal, whilst Iree was there, they had a lot to do. They have it all to do, and it's going to need a trademark Goshen Jah counter-attacking innings alongside support from Arif Sheikh and maybe contributions from the old guard of Kami and KC to come to give Nepal a chance. They have a lot to do here, they really do, and Scotland will just not allow them out of this stranglehold that they have them in.
Well, that's it. It just takes a couple of good overs for Nepal, and all of a sudden that changes the situation massively. But I don't think they're going to get that big over against Mark Watt. He's still wicketless, which we thought might go a long way to bringing Nepal back into this. Where do you think Mr. Barrington turns next as far as bowlers go now, Lenny, that McMullen has bowled out?
Yeah, you'd imagine probably Jack Jarvis will be the one who'll be given the call, but with the left-hander at the crease there might be a temptation to get Michael Leask into the game. Spin from both ends could be an option, even if it's just for 2 or 3 overs. Ja, his natural inclination is to attack. Will get off the mark immediately. He's a very positive player. McMullen, the all action cricketer he is, slides to help keep it to a single. So Leask, who's nearby, end of the 36th, the 178 for 5. Here are the bowling options for Scotland. You would imagine that if it's not going to be Leask now, it would probably be Jarvis. Safian Sharif, obviously, the other option. Davidson will be used at the death more predominantly. He's really the only kind of out-and-out death bowling option that they have. Jarvis can be expensive at the death. The problem for Nepal, all of a sudden that required run rate has escalated up to 8.5 runs per over.
Yeah, it's happened very quickly, hasn't it? See that last over from Watt, just the 2 singles coming from it. That is why Jarvis, it is who returns. So brains trust there, the experience of Sharif, leadership of Barrington.
You've got to admire Scotland, don't you, in terms of the way in which, lacking that X factor, lacking that pace of Seoul and Maine or anyone up kind of over 140 kilometres per hour, they find a way. So often find a way. I thought there was a brilliant piece I was reading last night. The Halfway Up Middle podcast team posted out. We're exemplifying just how difficult it is. I think the piece was written by Chris about, without Brad Curry's wickets, I know it's a very small sample size, and Brandon McMullen, there just aren't a huge number of wickets coming for Scotland. It was a high-scoring series over the Netherlands. There was that lovely early season weather that made the pitches very good in both the VRA and Utrecht. The two grounds are looking absolutely resplendent in the early summer sunshine or the late spring sunshine. But Curry took 10 wickets despite missing the first game. McMullen took 10 wickets. Outside of that, Jarvis, Watt, Davidson, Castle, Sharif and Leask all averaged the best part of 40 or more per wicket. Now, Watt's economy rate was exemplary, and I think he went at 4. Lovely cover drive. That's going to race to the rope. Nepal will need plenty more of that from Gulshan Jha. Slightly overpitched, but beautifully punished by Gulshan Jha.
You see Jarvis blowing his cheeks out in frustration. I'm happy with that. It's the first boundary that we've seen in a long time. Without necessarily having a lot of penetrations, Scotland they've just chipped away at it. They've just squeezed and squeezed and squeezed. Don't have a lot of variety. Don't have a lot of out and out pace either. But they've, I guess, turned to those the old adage that you do just apply that pressure through sharp fielding, through good fielding placements, trying to keep things tight. Eventually, pressure will force out a wicket.
Another square drive. Should pick up a second comfortably enough.
I love the way over there. As soon as the ball's hit in that direction, you get a swarm of people running behind it, running around behind it, hoping that they can get their hands on the ball.
Yeah, not where you want to be fielding if you're a Scottish fielder, because you're going to be under the maximum of pressure. And maybe even a little bit of sledging here and there. All good-natured, of course, if you've ever been to Nepal or met anyone of Nepalese origin. Always great joy and great senses of humour.
So after a really tight period where they were getting less than 4 and over, after 37 overs now. So first one by Jarvis, back into the attack, goes for 7, and Nepal 185 for 5.
Keep bringing up this runworm, Mel, because it's now definitely starting to get into a territory where, being 5 down, Nepal are getting themselves into trouble. More than 100 required. Need to keep those wickets in hand, but also keep an eye on getting that scoreboard ticking over. You could even maybe, let's say, just get 15 from the next 3, but not lose a wicket. That would make it the best part of 100 off the last 10. But then at least to the 5 wickets in hand, as it will be Michael Leask to come in to bowl his 4th over with the left-handed Gulshan Jha at the crease. No slip in place, interestingly, though. I thought Barrington might have been tempted to call George Munsey into action in there, or maybe get Mark Watt in. Instead, it's a reasonably defensive field. This is cut away. And cut away stylishly. That'll be a boundary. The matchup works against the bowler in this case as Gulshan Jah picks up that length very quickly and guides it away for 4.
He's made a real difference already since coming to the crease as Gulshan Jah. Just dragged that one down a little. Did Michael Lees.
Thinking about getting a boundary early in the over just applies pressure on the bowler. With Lees just not in form with the bat or with the ball, he was, I think, acutely aware that Bim Sharkey might have, albeit very accidentally, done him out of what could have been a maximum, the ball that he was a judge caught out on. Now we've won in each innings, haven't we? Plenty of Nepal fans saying, why didn't they check the one that didn't hit out towards Davidson? Taken, not a good delivery, but Arif Sheikh can only pick out Richie Barrington around the corner. Scotland of 6, and now are applying a very tight clamp upon this game. And the delighted Scottish captain, even though he's trying to hide himself in the field, well, he was never going to drop that.
Doesn't matter how many bandages he has on his hands, they're a pretty safe pair. Richie Barrington, Sheikh, departing for 7. Well, Nepal, they really are under pressure.
Yeah, not the innings that Arif Sheikh will have wanted, and what a delivery to get out to. I think Michael Lees will even admit that, well, this was a long hop, it could have been hit anywhere. Not a good delivery, and just hit straight into the hands of Richie Barrington.
Suspect गरौँ है सब्सक्राइब सानो भइदैन सपोर्ट त हो नि मैले भर्खर स्टार्ट गरेको के छ ट्याक्का ट्याक्का पारौँ न ट्याक्का ट्याक्का सबै साथीभाइ हैन
Some late evening sunshine is greeting us, and it's putting a very beautiful gloss on the Scottish performance. As it will be Sampal Kami to come to the crease, and all that could have been interesting. I wonder would he have been called back here, because Gulshan Jah got himself in a tangle. Surprised that Mark Watt threw it. Lees can apologise now, but what would have happened if the stumps were hit here? Probably would have stood, wouldn't it? I thought actually Lees had done a nuisance to Jah, but Jah just ended up falling over himself, really. And that would have been a disaster. They would have lost 2 and 2 balls, and that probably would have been that, but Jah survives.
Well, and while he's out there, Nepal still have a chance, but the task is really getting more and more difficult each over, especially now with only 4 wickets in hand. Run rate creeping up towards 9 now.
What a bonus wicket that was, for Richie Barrington. Brought on Michael Lees to have a bowl at the left-hander, but it could have easily been 2, and I think that would have been gone. Certainly with 3 stumps to aim at. Mark Watt throwing with his good angle, the left-hander, probably should have affected that run out. He continues to find a way to impact the game, even when he's not in his best form.
So Jack Jarvis it will be, continuing from the pavilion end. It's a lot brighter now, we're getting a lot more blue sky coming our way now, as you can see there. Full shadows of the players. So brightening up a lot after that gloomy period. Certainly brightening up for Scotland.
Share and subscribe, please.
Jack Jarvis into his 6th over now. Strays down the leg side. Misses everything, given as a wide. For Nepal, even if they get down to defeat here, there's been plenty of good moments, isn't there? Not the start that Stuart Law would have wanted, of course he won't, but even if they come up short, there's so many things to take from this contest against a very fine Scottish side on home soil.
Absolutely. Particularly early on with some of those periods of bowling. I thought they did really well to pull it back.
Beauty. It somehow misses everything, this one. Sampal Kami completely squared up, ends up facing down the wicket. Easily could have hit the off stump.
Just a wry smile from Jack Jarvis there. A word with the umpire. He can't quite believe that missed everything as well. But it's just been a good contest in general, these two. Throwing punch and counter punch.
It's yet another tame dismissal. They're stacking up here. Rohit Paudel, Arif Sheikh. You can now add Sampal Kami to that list. Probably threw the shot a little early and just lobs up the simplest of catches for George Munsey. And all of a sudden, a contest that has been neck and neck for almost every delivery of the first 80% of the game is swinging heavily towards the Scots.
Yeah, that ball just angling down the leg side, and it's really just a tame chip in the end. I can't believe he's done it.
Sampal out.
It's a ball probably would normally expect to put away, but Sampal Kami is the latest in what's becoming a little bit of a procession. He's gone for one run of just 4 deliveries. Jack Jarvis with his second wickets, and Nepal just starting to subside now. Just a very tame little chip there. Picked out Munsey. Couldn't have picked him out better if he tried.
Great ruthlessness from Scotland in terms of execution and knowing when they were getting into the game. They just refused to give the opposition anything after a rather errant start with the ball. Jack Jarvis has a second. Masterclass from Richie Barrington yet again. So he really, his captaincy has just grown and grown over the last, particularly 18 months since he first took over the job from Kyle Coates. Probably didn't sit overly comfortably with him in the first year or so.
They've certainly grown into it. I mean, when you make bowling changes and wickets follow, you do have to give your captain a good bit of credit for that.
Particularly the impact of Brandon McMullen in that third spell. It's completely changed the game.
That is incredible. I just can't quite get over it.
In fact, it could well be Charlie Tier that'll be the player of the match, but actually for me, the one that's actually won Scotland this game, and it's ludicrous to think, what did he get? I don't know, 15 or 20 with the bat, something to that effect. 19 he made off 31 balls, didn't look himself out there at the bat, but his 3 wickets in the second innings.
लाइभलाई शेयर गरिदिने च्यानल सब्स्क्राइब गरिदिने प्लिज गरिदिनु होला मलाई केही थाहा छैन बहर लाइभ हो जम्मा 100 जना पुगिरहेको छ सब्स्क्राइबर
certainly the type who plays these wonderful counter-attacking knocks from that number 6, number 7
please subscribe my channel.
He tends to only play in one manner.
मैले जानेको यही हो
Karan KC can play in a number of ways, but
अरु के गर्नुपर्छ
nobody in the history of cricket in Nepal hits a bigger ball than him. And Sandy Pramachani has shown us
प्लिज मेरो प्यारो साथीहरु मन ब्याक गर्छु सब्स्क्राइब गरिदिनु
in the city. Smashed all the way, clocked towards the clock, wasn't it? An amazing strike that I think is going to fly all the way.
प्लिज 14 जनाले पनि सब्स्क्राइब गरिदिनु न प्लिज
6. Outstanding pull shot from Goshen Jap.
Well, dropped him short. He was inviting the shot.
14 जनाले पनि सब्स्क्राइब गरिदिनु न प्लिज प्लिज मेरो साथीहरु प्लिज मेरो च्यानललाई सब्स्क्राइब गरिदिनु प्लिज प्लिज मेरो साथीहरु मेरो प्यारो साथीहरु भर्खर म नयाँ च्यानल खोल्न लागेको हो मलाई केही थाहा छैन प्लिज सब्सक्राइब गरिदिनु होला है म हजुरहरूलाई गेम देखाइदिइहाल्छु
here. This is the cardiac kids we're talking about. 39 have been bowled, 199 for 7. Let's get to some of those comments. I can imagine there's a few Nepal fans wondering, is this a case of old habits? Dying hard, Sandesh is giving out about Defender Singh being named as the vice captain after just one game. Give him some time, please. Sagar also questioning why is Defender Singh in the ODI team. I think you can look at his raw figures and certainly question his performances in ODI cricket. I think he's only averaging something like 18, isn't he? Has that career century to his name. But give him time, and certainly I would like to see him bowl a little bit more. Michael Harley watching on, saying that Mel and yourself made a very good point about the one-pace Scottish bowling attack. But he said what they do very well is they bowl in partnership brilliantly, and they've got good variety as to how they do bowl.
Yeah, that's a very good point. You have seen them bowl in those partnerships and that pressure that they've been able to build.
Great diving stop from Leask, saves maybe a second run. Do get through for the single in the end. Do have more questions coming in about the tickets. cricketscotland.com. Go on there and buy those in advance. You want to be guaranteed your spot. That's the only way to make sure you can be here, but they will take money on the gate as well. That's an option. I think it's pretty good value as well, £20 for all of the games. Looking forward to seeing everyone come along over the course of the coming 10 days to here in Dundee, and then on with email to Glasgow for the T20Is. It'll be great prep for Scotland and the Netherlands, and indeed Nepal, for their upcoming T20 World Cup qualifiers.
Subscribe गरिदिनु है Subscribe गरिदिनु please. Subscribe गरिदिनु.
Being one of the stories of the tournament really last year in the USA and the Caribbean.
Absolutely, and I'll tell you what, that qualifier that Netherlands, as they take a single in the Netherlands with Netherlands and Scotland, oh boy, that's a tight one. I know, in particular Italy is making many people think twice. Normally you'd think Scotland, Netherlands favourites to go through, but that Italian side has got a lot of talent in it.
200's up as Nepal now enter the third and final power play with only 3 wickets in hand. Bit of a disastrous last 10 overs for them. The game swung heavily towards Scotland, but don't rule anything out whilst these two are still at the crease. It's 201 for 7. What can you identify in this batting card as being the most disappointing? If you look at, I suppose, a number of the dismissals, Bim Sharkey, Rohit Powell, Arif Sheikh, Dipender Singh and Sampal Kami in particular, those 5 all getting out to fairly limp dismissals. Particularly Bim Sharkey's stroke right across the line of McMullen probably wasn't needed. It's hitting against the wind. Irie also getting guilty of trying to hit against the wind. Powell, of all people, he had a half volley straight to cover.
That is definitely the most disappointing aspect of the innings. From just especially after they got themselves starts. We saw the way Charlie Tier applied himself throughout in Scotland's innings. And he had his chances as well. He had some inside edges, rode his luck a little bit as well. But just that whole idea of getting established, getting into the 30s, and then basically handing your wicket by chipping the ball straight to fielders. I think that'll be the biggest concern.
Worked into the leg side. It'll just be a single. Good question here from James Schumacher, watching on from Dorset. He says he's an avid, die-hard Cricket World Cup League 2 follower and loves watching the best of the associate game. He's just wondering about any background story behind Michael English. He's that one solitary Scotland appearance, the 1 century. We were both here for it. Where is he now? Is he still on the radar? I think he's just had a first trial, so that's why he missed out. Very much going to be in and around and in the mix, but didn't make the squad for this particular series.
चाहिँ लास्टमा
I
हेर्न
don't think
मजा
with
आउँदो
the way
रहेछ.
which he plays, he'd necessarily be in the
43
T20
गुड
reckons.
खुसी
More
लाग्यो
of an
खुसी
ODI
लाग्यो
player. Then I think the
सबैजना
problem
सब्सक्राइब
for
गरिदिनु होला मेरो
English was
च्यानललाई
that when it came to the tour of Texas last November, they had Andrew Mead available, they had Michael Jones available. So despite that wonderful innings on debut against Namibia, he's probably
Good
just
job,
missing out at the
subscribe my
moment. There's no
channel.
depth in the Scottish batting.
Yeah, and it was such a shame he'd waited so long for his opportunity.
मेरो च्यानल सब्सक्राइब गरिदिनु होला खेल चाहिँ घम्सी भइरहेछ धेरै टाइम छैन प्लिज सब्सक्राइब माई च्यानल
Safian Sharif had to be at his best to stop that.
But it is so tricky for Scotland in managing their resources because there's just no consistency of when players can be available or not. We just never know. And there is that standard line that always comes out with the press release, and other players were considered but are unavailable for personal or county or whatever it is.
Inside edge, but inside edge for a single. Karan KC is a real fan favourite, and every run he hits is going to be cheered to the rafters.
We've had a lot of inside edges today that have just missed the stumps. Quite a lot. This is just such a good squeeze though from Scotland. Jack Jarvis now doing his part. Gulshan Jar's, of course, been able to get a few balls away. If Jarvis, if he can get out of this over with another dot or a single, very much job done from him in this over.
Helped around the corner, helped away for 4. Gulshan Jar will take this game very deep if he's still here in the 50th over. Do not turn off your sets just yet. It's 209 for 7.
88 रन मात्रै चाहियो अब 54 बलमा 88 रन है त 54 बलमा 88 रन guys subscribe my channel please
just going a little bit short and angling down the leg side, so all it really needed was helping on its way. And Jarvis just after saying if you could get out of that over, he bowls his poorest ball on the last ball. Michael Leask is going to continue.
Subscribe गरिदिनु न प्लिज एकपटक मात्रै एकपटक सब्स्क्राइब गरेपछि कहिल्यै गर्नु पर्दैन प्लिज सब्स्क्राइब माई च्यानल मेरो प्यार साथीहरु म तपाईहरुको लागि के गर्नुपर्छ त्यही गरिहाल्छु नि लाइभलाई शेयर एन्ड सब्स्क्राइब गरिदिनु न प्लिज प्लिज मेरो साथीहरु गरिदिनु ल
creeping up to almost 10 and over. Still gettable.
म लास्टमा हेर्छु ल कसले गर्नुभएको छ म ब्याक गरिहाल्छु म पनि हजुरहरुको च्यानललाई सब्स्क्राइब गरिदिन्छु नि त हजुरहरु नयाँ होला म पनि नयाँ हो प्लिज 47 जना प्लिज
Karan KC, utterly adored. Two men, probably the opposite ends of their career. Just
सब्स्क्राइब गरिदिनु ल प्लिज मेरो साथीहरु अब धेरै टाइम छैन गरिदिनु ल
It's a very tall task, plenty of boundaries needed. Can they rally that 12th player and get them behind the visiting side and maybe just put Scotland under a little bit of pressure as the sun continues to try to end the day in some style? Leask bowled effectively here, isn't he, Mel? He's just, he knows that the batter's going to come after him and he's spearing them in and not allowing any boundary balls.
Yeah, it's just good defensive. They've got defensive fields set up for Leask as well. Just that experience, that last one was a leg bite.
Subscribe गरिदिनु please मेरो channel.
Almost the holding role.
हेर्दै सब्स्क्राइब गर्दै गर्न नि मिलिहाल्छ नि
piece of bowling.
मिल्दैन र मिलिहाल्छ नि गुलशन झाले 23 बलमा 27 रन Karan KC ले 9 बल में 5 रन
Is there a question over whether
उताबाटै प्रब्लम आएको हो यताको प्रब्लम चाहिँ हैन है एकछिन वेट गरिदिनु यही बेलामा मेरो च्यानललाई सब्स्क्राइब गरिदिनु न प्लिज लाइभ काटिएको होइन उताबाट डिस्टर्ब भइरहेको छ अघिबाटै हो अनि धेरै टाइम छैन नाच्दिनु ल ओ माई गड किन जानुभएको हो
out? It's just reached that point now. Above 10 and only going north. So they need two or three really good overs, Nepal. And they're right back in it. It's not going to be easy though. A little bit of extra pace from Jasper Davidson might actually help them.
Scotland had real problems at the death. Different kind of batting surfaces, very, very flat wickets at the VRA and Utrecht in Kampong last month. They had real issues at the death. Davidson, Jarvis, Castle all going the distance towards the latter stages. KC gets one into the screws, hits exactly where we're talking about and flies for 4. Game on here if these two get going. That's a fine stroke. It's not where you want to bowl to Karan KC.
And that extra pace back on, the ball just pinging off the bat. It's right in the slot. So Scotland just need to be a little bit careful here. Davidson, after all that
share and subscribe garden please
graft to get themselves into that position, the squeeze, the pressure.
Remarkably, mid-off is staying up in the circle. KC only hits to one part of the ground. That's straight down the ground. Pulls the length back, so he's happy to check it down for what will be a single. Gulshan Jha loves it down over that long on reach, and again, that'll be hitting with the prevailing breeze to some extent. This is the over now. They have to go with this over, get that required run rate back under 10s, and start to put pressure on the Scottish bowlers.
Yeah, it really does need to be this over. Particularly with Davison coming back into the attack, having gone for quite a few runs in his earlier spell. I would not be surprised to see them go on the attack again this next ball. Really, really turn the screws.
Hi,
ask Davidson, well, what are you going to do next?
कस्तो देखिरहेछ राम्रो देखिरहेछ कि के गर्नुपर्ने छ
back mid off
धुरमुर आइरहेछ रे
Guided away for what will be just a single, but you can just see there's something brewing here.
Yeah.
The wind is continuing to get up. They need to use that wind where they can, hit cleverly. You think about Gulshan Jha, he can target over cow corner into the leg side off Davidson. The left-hand, right-hand combination will be a benefit.
So far been a good little comeback from Davidson though, because you can tell they want to attack him from the first boundary away, but he can get out of this one and feel pretty happy with himself going before first. It's still up over 10.
Mid-off still up in the circle as well, so anything full, KC's only going to go in one direction. I wonder will he even maybe consider using his feet, getting down the pitch towards the quick bowler. Instead it's short, it's pulled into the deep. George Munsey's out there, over his head. Maybe the biggest cheer of the entire day. It is the big over that Nepal needed to get this chase really up and moving again. And the Nepal fans, certainly, they still believe.
was a microcosm of the game in this one over. Banged it in short. It's trying to hurry him. Munsey thought he was in with the shot for a while.
Ball bach gaya.
Had just enough on it. By a whole lot. It's time to go straight to the fielder. But that is a terrific over. 13 runs coming from it. Couple more of those, and Nepal really in business.
72 रन चाहिए छैन 42 बलमा 72 रन नेपालले जित्ला के होला अझमा 42 बल मात्रै बाँकी छ
Much more like it from Nepal, and well, Karan KC has been there, he's done that, he's seen it all before. Such a good man to have up your sleeve all the way down at number 9. He loves hitting big sixes, big bombs, as does young Gulshan Jha. I just wonder, will this be the over that might create a chance though for Scotland? Nepal will have to continue to attack. It's still in and around 10 and over. This was the maximum here. Great effort from Munsey, but definitely well out of his reach.
Well, Michael Leask has been so good at bowling defensively. This is going to be tested now. By first ball, another dot. They can't, at the moment, afford to wait out one over and attack at the other end. Another dot ball.
It's funny again, isn't it? The pace off the ball is the thing that is proving difficult for Nepal to score against today. Might not be the case throughout the series. Remember, Mark Watt still has 2 overs left. That will be given as a wide down the leg side, speared in. Casey's probably going to have to take him on at some point in this over. Remember, he'll be hitting to the leg side with the wind, but there's a lot of protection out there. 3 men on the rope in the deep. He gets himself in a tangle. Leask is proving untouchable. I wonder, are we going to see a lot of spin in these last 7 overs? You'd imagine that Watt's going to bowl out at some point as well.
It would seem crazy not to bowl out Watt because he has been tight as well, Mark Watt. Bowled 8 overs, hasn't taken a wicket, but it's gone around 4 and over. None for 33. I wonder when we will see him come back. Why didn't do the next over?
The way in which Jha and KC are approaching this chase seems to indicate they think that they can still take it deep. They can get, 12 or 14 and over off the last 3 overs if there's pace on. They're just struggling to score off the spinners. I wonder, will KC take a chance here? Clearly going to be the leg side that he will target, hitting with a very stiff breeze. But instead, for the moment, he's happy just to check it down and keep it to less risk. Running out of time here, Nepal.
1 ball left to attack, Leask.
It's good bowling, isn't it? Just really 4 runs from the over. Excellent from Michael Leask.
Yeah, really good stuff from Leask. Just gave them nothing. Fired that ball in. And yet again, then the pressure now drops back onto the batters.
Subscribe button.
We're going to see Jasper Davidson continue. Expensive in this last over.
That wind is the strongest it's been throughout the day.
It really is.
And certainly for Nepal to get close here, they're going to need a massive over here. Pace on, nothing to lose, everything to gain. Stuart Law's first game as head coach. Been a desperately tough conditions that the game has been played through, particularly for Nepal. It's been cold, it's been blustery, the pitch has had a bit in it for the bowlers. Nepal didn't start well with the ball, fought back so well in the second half of that first innings.
44 ओभर खेल भइसक्यो 229 रनले 7 विकेट गुमाएको छ सबैजना हेर्नेहरूले सब्स्क्राइब गर्दिनु होला च्यानललाई सब्स्क्राइब गर्दिनु लाइक गर्दिनु कमेन्ट गर्दिनु हेलो कपो Are you?
It's a good option.
Subscribe गरिदिनु ल कप्पो चौवालिस ओभर भइसकेको छ हेर्दै गर्नु लाइभलाई सेयर एन्ड सब्सक्राइब गरिदिनु प्लिज च्यानल सब्सक्राइब गरिदिनु लाइभलाई सेयर गरिदिनु कमेन्टहरू गर्दै गर्नु न प्लिज वे फेरि आउट ए भएन भएन आउट भयो भने मेरो त 7 पो गइरा
Trying to hide it away from the hitting arc. KC slashes it away. I think it might have fallen just agonisingly short of Michael Leask.
I think he might have misjudged it and hadn't come in.
म बोल्दा ठिक हुन्छ कि यो भोइस लगाउँदा ठिक हुन्छ अङ्ग्रेजी नबुझ्नेहरूलाई गाह्रो पर्ला नि त फेरि गाह्रो म जस्तै हो कि म बोलेको राम्रो कि कड्याङ मड्याङ अङ्ग्रेजी त म बुझ्दैन है साथीहरू
Gulshan Jad now, can he get a hold of Jasper Davidson? Davidson's going to come around the wickets. Dug in, helped away and helped all the way, hitting with the wind, and it's a bit too easy for Gulshan Jad. That is not a good length and not a good angle. Nepal hanging around in this chase.
Yeah, they are not out of it at all. No easy task, but he's just dragged that one down. And I think the combination of the left hand, right hand is just causing Jasper Davidson a few issues in getting his line right.
Good. Well done.
It would be only fitting if the Cardiac Kids produce another thriller after such a long wait. Ja is trying to make that the case and make it, he may well. Back-to-back maximums. Excellent batting because he's sized up the bowler, hitting with the wind. And even though he's had to take on Finlay McCreath in the deep, he's got it well over his head. Game on here in Dundee.
Yes, it certainly is, and a bit of crisis management now. Richie Berrington just going and having a chat with Davidson, but this bowling change praised Richie Barrington for making the bowling changes that have brought wickets, but unfortunately bringing back Jasper Davidson is 2 overs coming back in. First one went for 13, this one has gone for 14 so far, and there's still 3 leading deliveries to come.
Well, it's classic Nepali cricket. The Cardiac Kids are at it again. Go and get those pulses, those blood pressures, those heart rates checked. They're up to their old tricks here. You never know which way the game is going to swing when they're at it. And Gulshan Jad is on a hot streak. Beats the outside edge this time as he looks to guide it past the man at third in the circle. He's always missed out there.
Just with these 2 overs, that run rate is now come back down under 10 and over.
Very
much you would think that if Ja, let alone if he's there with KC in the 50th and final, Nepal will still have it within their hands. These problems with the death for Scotland continue. Just don't have the pace or the option of a Chris Soul or a Gavin Main. Pressure on young Jasper Davidson. They continue around the wicket. Got 2 balls still to come. Pulled again, but no timing. Probably lucky he doesn't get more of it, Gulshan Jad, because it would have gone straight to McCreath. What will KC do now? Will he try and get in the act?
Karan KC what does Richie Barrington do now? He's got Leask bowling tightly at one end. So he's got to find 5 more overs at the other end, but Jasper Davidson struggling to contain particularly Gulshan Jad.
31 बलमा 53 रन के गर्छ केटा हो जादुको छडी चला
Get a bit tense.
जादुको छडी चला उडायो
Toss it into the leg side, but Safian Sharif will deal with that, keep it to a single. Cannot take your eyes off this team, you cannot take your eyes off this league, and you certainly cannot take your eyes off ICC TV right now. 45 have been bowled. The equation is 52 to win off the final 5 overs. Don't go anywhere. 245 for 7. Get a look at the run worm. You're going to see an uptick for Nepal. Very much honours even with 5 to go. Which way is this game going, Mel Farrell?
Oh, you are joking asking me that this right now, because I don't know. I'm not giving it up either way. But I'm not sure that we'll see a third over from Jasper Davidson. Just proving to be, I feel for him, but it's just proving to be a bit too expensive at this stage. And that wind is really picking up.
It must be gusting up over 35 kilometres per hour. It's giving you... The thing for Lees Keir is that KC isn't really known as a leg side hitter, he's known as a straight down the ground hitter. But the wind is in essence, if anything, not blowing completely square, if anything a little bit towards sort of a deep backward square leg. It's kind of coming over right across the shoulders, the broad shoulders of Karan KC. I'm not sure where he's going to look to hit, and the problem for Gulshan Jazz, if he wants to go to the leg side, if he gets on strike, he'll be going against the wind. I think the big overs they're going to need are going to be overs 47 and 49 from the pavilion end. Might be more difficult. Can they get maybe 7 or 8 off this least over? Instead, KC tries to hit with the wind. Does he get enough of it? Oh, yes, he does. It goes all the way for 6. The 250's up. Nepal, if anything, they're moving into the ascendancy now.
Well, there might be another ball. Lost another one. This time he just picked up the length.
Market ma Karan KC le छक्का हानिसक्यो ल गुड हेर नेपालीको फ्रेका काठमाडौँतिर यता राजावादीले गण्डकीतिर साझा यातायातकोले कहाँ हो यो खेल भइरहेको यतातिर फेरि नेपालले तताइराखन नेपालले हो के तताउने विश्व तताइराखन नेपालले हेर सुरुवातमै छक्काबाट सुरुवात गर्यो गरे खै यो ओभर राम्रो हुन्छ कि जहाँ गए नेपालले तताइराछन् है काठमाडौँमा नि राजावादीले तताइराखन् वाइसिएलले नि कता राजावादीले ततायो भन्ने कुरा सुन्छ त के हो विश्वभरि नेपालले तताइराखन् रसियातिर गएर नेपालले तताउँछन् जता गयो नेपालीकै वर्चस्व छ अहिले यहाँ करणले र गुल्सनले तताइराखन् फेरि यता क्रिकेट 7 विकेट गइसक्यो नि त अब के हो तातेको छ है तातेको छ सब्स्क्राइब पनि गरौँ है हेरेर मात्रै नबसौँ नि उडा न उडा उडाउन मिल्दैन र तातेको छ है केटाहरूको जोस छ फेरि छक्का हान्दे त भाइ एक छक्का हान्दे भने यहाँबाट म उडेर आउँछु त्यही ठोक 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 भएन यार बेटा यार करण केसी र गुल्सन झाको हल मिल्दो रहेछ कि हल यिनीहरूको ठिक छ ल 252 297 लिनुपर्ने 252 अब तान्नु पर्छ यो केटा ठोक ठोक्नु परेन नेपालको अलि राम्रो ला फेरि छक्का हान्यो आउट गरिदियो नि त यार गुल्सन झालाई रोयो बिचरा रोयो गुल्सनलाई आउट गरिदियो क्या हो ठुक्क यार कस्तो नमजा भयो यार, गुल्सन आउट भयो यार। यस्तो राम्रो खेलिरहेको थियो, कस्तो यार छोपिदियो नि त, च्याप पार्यो यार। बिचरा गुल्लु, गुल्लुको दिन सक्यो नि त यार। 42 त लियो, गुल्लुले राम्रो खेल्यो यार खेल्न त, तर गयो। 8 विकेटको क्षतिमा 245, 200 कति 52 हो। 30 बलमा 42 रन लिएको थियो, राम्रो खेलिरहेको थियो गुल्लुले। गयो बरै, गयो बरै, गयो बरै, गयो। सन्दीप लामिछाने आयो त नि। सन्दीप लामिछाने बलर, यसले त बलिङ मात्र राम्रो गर्ने होइन र। हैत्तेरिका, सन्दीप लामिछानेले कतिको हान्छ हो ब्याटिङ। खै कमेन्ट गरौँ त, पहिला गेम हेरेकोले कमेन्ट गरौँ त। सन्दीप लामिछाने ओके हो? सन्दीप लामिछाने आइरहेछ, नाम त सुनेकै नाम हो। म क्रिकेट खासै हेर्दिनँ नि त साथी हो, आज मात्रै हेरेको यसो जोस चलेर। मसँगै आज 52 जनाले, 53 जना भएर हेरिराखेको छ नि त। सेयर गरौँ न, अलि धेरै भएर हेरौँ, अलि धेरैजना बसेर हेरौँ। ओए सन्दीप लामिछाने आयो फेरि 1 रन ल्यायो। ल ल ल, अब करण केसीले छक्का हान्नुपर्छ। एक छक्काको सुरुवात यसैले गरेको के अरे, छक्काको सुरुवात गर्ने त यही हो, तर भएन क्या हो, भएन क्या हो। क्रिकेटमा हार्यो भने त, नेपालको अलिअलि राम्रो खेल भनेको क्रिकेट हो, क्रिकेटमै हार्यो भने त सक्यो त। केमा जित्छ त नेपालले क्रिकेटमा हार्यो भने? गाह्रो पो छ त यार। दुई 297 को टार्गेट हो, 254 त ल्याइसक्यो। अब हेरौँ यहाँ कस्तो गर्छ। यो ओभरमा राम्रो खेल्न पर्छ जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई। झ्याली पिटिराखन् के अरे नेपालीहरूले, झन्डा चाहिँ बोक्न छोड्दैनन् है नेपालले जहाँ गयो नि। झन्डा चाहिँ बोक्नु, झोला बोक्न भन्दा झन्डा बोक्न ठिक छ। उडा, अब यो पनि आउट होला नि। तर फुर्तिलो रहेछ नि कि स्कटल्यान्डको टोली नि यार, फुर्तिलो लाग्यो मलाई त। स्कटल्यान्डको टोली नि फुर्तिलो छन् है। स्कटल्यान्ड भन्ने क्रिकेटमा राम्रै ठाउँ रहेछ कि जस्तो लाग्यो। नेपालसित, नेपाल झन् राम्रो हो नि त, नेपाल राम्रो लाग्छ मलाई। करण केसी हो के अरे, यसो आश लाग्ने। हेरौँ मैले छक्का हान्न, छक्का 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 छक 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 डुम। भएन कि यार, अलिक घुममा हान्न मिल्दैन। डुवाममा हान्न पऱ्यो नि त, डुवाममा बम हान्छ जस्तै। 22 बलमा 40 रन चाहिएको छ है साथी हो। गुल्सन गएपछि चाहिँ आशै मर्दो रहेछ कि। सन्दीप लामिछानेले हान्छ र भने, सन्दीप लामिछानेले जादुको छडी निकालेर हान्छ जस्तो छ है। जादुको छडी निकाले सन्दीप लामिछानेले भने त। करण केसीले छडी निकाल्नु पर्ने हो, जादुको छडी लुकाइरहेछ। जादुको छडी निकाल्ने करण केसी कि सन्दीप लामिछाने जस्तो लाग्छ। सब्सक्राइब गरिदिनु प्लिज मेरो प्यारो प्यारो दोस्तहरू। मैले भोलिको यो आइपिएलको फाइनल पनि म लाइभ हानिदिन्छु। आइपिएलको फाइनल पनि हेर्ने ल, म लाइभ गरिदिन्छु है मेरो दोस्तहरू। हेलो तारा प्रसाद हेलो सब्सक्राइब गरिदिनु ल है कस्तो यार अब त तात्न परेन सकियो त तन्नै पो छ त 67 77 87 57 आमामा 40 रन चाहिए छ बे 40 रन 41 मन भुटुक भुटुक हो गया उडान हट मुर्दाहरू ज्यानै फालेर जान्छन् त यार करण मेरो भाइ करण उडान एक पटक मात्र उडान के हो आवाज लगाइदिउँ र अंग्रेजी आवाज नेपाली ठीक छ कि अंग्रेजी भनिदिनु ल यहाँको ओरिजिनल आवाजै चाहियो भन्ने ओके छ हेरी
Does he attack? Oh, beautifully bowled. He can't attack, not with a ball like that.
He's always been a very fine Yorker bowler, Safian Sharif, and I think despite the lack of pace, definitely the experience that he brings at the death, something that Scottish cricket's greatest servants maybe should be entrusted a bit more at the death. There's a shot of Casey, he's very deep in the crease, looking for that length to work with. Doesn't get it. Again, the Yorker is nailed. Excellent skills from Safian Sharif. But Casey will at least have the strike, but the task is getting ever taller for Nepal. 38 to win off the last three now. It's 259 for 8.
Yes, super over there from Safian Sharif. Captain would want him to. A couple of Yorkers there at the end, making sure he gets out of the over nicely.
मेरो कमेन्ट कस्तो लागिरहेछ
8 wickets down, Mel. Just Bridjan Dakal, who won't offer too much at the very end of the bat. It's going to have to be Karan KC, and almost Karan KC alone here.
Yeah, it's all on him now. Get support from Lamashani, but if the power hitting is going to come from somewhere, it's going to come from Karan KC, and he can do it.
KC
has come back into the attack now, as we suspected.
हेल्प गर लामी छाने भन्छ मैले बुझेको है अंग्रेजी त बुझिदैन त्यही पनि सब्स्क्राइब गरिदिनु है 54 जनाले प्लिज सब्स्क्राइब
What a way to start the Stuart Law era of Nepalese cricket. It's not really the kind of weather that anyone is enjoying. It's so cold. He's now somehow still wearing the shorts, but he's taking.
आज 100 जना मात्रै प्लस गर्ने हो मैले सब्स्क्राइबर एक सब्स्क्राइब गरिदिनु नि त प्लिज है हस् भन्नु न है
Mark Watt will probably bowl overs 48 and 50. It's a difficult one for Casey, isn't it? Because his natural hitting arc is down over long on. But because of the strength of that wind, he has to target square the wickets, and Mark Watt will be acutely aware of that and try and hide it away. That's where he likes to hit, down the ground, but because of that wind, you're not going to get it over the head of a fielder, 74, 75 metres away.
Yeah, and you see who Richie Berrington has put down there as well. It's Michael. Just waiting.
Lamachani will target the leg side, but no timing at all. Will KC take the second? I think he's going to turn it down. He wants to strike. He's going to have 3 balls from Mark Watt here. You'd imagine at least one, if not 2 of these, is probably going to need to go over the rope to get Nepal back in the game. 34 required off 15. The broad shoulders of Karan KC. Targets the leg side. Picks it up, gets it all the way. There's the first of them. It was the full toss from Mark Watt. needed to do was get it up and into that wind, and Nepal
छक्का
were
दियो
just one
अड्काइदियो
player
बल
away in this
अड्काइदियो
game.
बलै अड्काइदियो माथि छतमा गुड
All of a sudden,
करुण
the chase has just turned back
करुण
towards
दिनु भाइ गुड
towards
अड्काइदियो बलै
Nepal. As
अड्काइदियो
a gentleman there, don't fall over, sir. Careful on that scaffolding. Heavens above.
तीन छक्का मात्रै
I
हान्छ भाइ
managed to find the ball, but don't be surprised if I was that gentleman. I might stay up there because that is exactly the area that Karan KC is going to target again. Mark Watt has to be really careful here. This is what we thought, wind assistance, a huge factor.
He's missed out. This is very close, maybe just missing the leg stump. Watt was convinced, going to be given, well, not as leg buys, maybe an inside edge, which we didn't see on first viewing. I think KC will feel as though it was there to be hit. One more look at it, probably angling down anyway.
के हुन्छ यो अब
There was an inside edge, so great umpiring under the maximum pressure. Outstanding performance from the two umpires today. Every decision spot on the money. Maybe a bit of a free hit for Lamachani. Can he find a boundary? KC's going to want the second. Can he get back onto strike? He touches and goes. Charlie Tier, the fielder. Throw goes to the right end, but Lamachani only just gets home. Two remain. The game still hangs in the balance. It's 272 for 8.
सब्सक्राइब गरिदिनु ल सबैजनाले है मेरो जिग्रीहरु
Well, 28 required of the last two overs, and this game is going down to the wire, absolutely down to the wire. What a brilliant first ODI we've had here at Fort Hill to kick off this round of Cricket World Cup League 2 fixtures.
Safian Sharif to bowl the penultimate over. Full toss, smoked down to the ground, and Safian Sharif has been dispatched from out of the biggest six in the day. And it's the broad, heroic shoulders of Karan KC that's at it yet again for Nepal.
Good.
Well, what a mighty blow, and a mistake from Sharif. The full toss. It was asking to be hit, and Casey doesn't need much of an invitation. That's another ball that might be lost, or it's going to take some finding. And Sharif, he was so tight in his last over, but now just 19 needed from 11 balls. This is turning Nepal's way again. The fans know it. They can sense it out there.
Cricket World Cup continues to deliver every single game in this league. It's unbelievable. Security guards are going to have a real job in their hands keeping these fans from going on the field. If Nepal win this, they may as well give up the chase. I think we'll see a pitch invasion. A match for the ages. Nobody's ever chased more than 2.
Subscribe गरेर जानु ल गए पनि
Nepal have never chased a total this high. They've only got past 300 once in their one-day international history, but they stand 3 big blows away from levelling the scores. KC stands on the brink of a remarkable one-day international 50, hidden away all the way down at number 9. Questions about whether he should still even be in the squad coming into this tour. And the 33-year-old, very much the folk hero of the game in Nepal, is doing it again. He's never made an international 50, a recognised international 50 in ODI or T20I cricket. He could be just about to do it. He's got his career best already with 49 off 34 deliveries, and there is a world of pressure on Safian Sharif.
Well, those broad shoulders of Karan KC now carry the hopes, not of those Scottish fans who would quite like to see him walk back to the marquee, but for those Nepalese fans out there who've provided us with so much joy and entertainment today. And this is very tense now.
Joy
And
and
I think
entertainment today.
right now, Nepal are in the box seat.
19 to win off 11. Nails the Yorker, but it's smeared away into the offside. Gets to the rope. Back-to-back boundaries, and it's a first ever one-day international for Karan KC. They can hardly keep the fans off the playing surface right now. He's got there in 35 deliveries. A comeback for the ages we might be witnessing here from Nepal and the cardiac kids. Well, they're at it again.
They certainly are. It was a terrific ball. It was the wide Yorker. It didn't matter. He just timed it to perfection, even though there was protection in the deep.
It's into the leg side, going to be 4 more. Euphoria, ecstasy being reached in the crowd, and it's Karan KC. Again for Nepal. They're on the brink now. It's just 11 more needed.
Incredible scenes here at Brazil. Is it Scotland or is it the Himalayas? This is amazing stuff with these fans. They've been absolutely brilliant today. They can set something special. And Karan KC is providing it.
He was brilliant. Manufacturing the most miraculous of comebacks here with the bats. All pressure on Scotland. They've almost done all the hard work now. Can they hold their nerve and get over the line? Barrington has another long discussion with the experienced Sharif. He's gone for the block hole 3 consecutive deliveries. That man's blowing kisses to the TV gantry. 11 to win off 9 now. Driven down the ground. Can Lamachani get back for the second? I don't think so. Oh, misfield, he will! Drama, more drama here with Forfeiture. It'll get KC back onto strike, the last thing that Scotland would have wanted.
Well, that's what pressure does. You don't see Brandon McMullen making those kinds of mistakes in the field very often, but those nerves are at breaking point right now for the players, the fans, for us here in the commentary tent. We've been building up to this all day. We're being rewarded with a cracking finish. Where did Sharif go now?
Just 9 needed to win. Big swing and a miss. That won't matter. The key thing for this delivery is to get Karan KC on strike. Keep the game in his hands. Scotland desperately need the wicket of the big man with the broad shoulders.
Don't go anywhere. Don't move. Stay in your seat. Hold your breath if you have to. One delivery remaining in this over. Karan KC on strike.
It's a down the ground. Going to get at least a single. Will he take the second? He does. Interesting decision from Karan KC. I don't think Scotland will mind that too much. That's not the worst result. Score moves to 290 for 8. 1 over remains. 7 required to win. 6. And we'll do it all again. We'll head off to the super over.
Oh my goodness. Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me, Lenny. Don't even say it and tempt fate. It could be happening.
Well, we had one last month in Florida. Remarkable game. There is super overs. Long discussions now. Matthew Cross, the vice captain, joins the skipper Richie Barrington to talk to Mark Watt about what to do here. Surely the discussion between Karan KC and Sandeep Lamachani has to be one of Sandeep, get me a single, let me unleash my long levers, I'll win it with a maximum.
Oh boy.
Don't love the associate game. Don't know what more it can do to entertain and dramatise our wonderful sport. Every single match in this league, every single game in the pathways continues to astound. Yet again, we've got a classic on our hands as the clock very nearly reaches midnight back in Kathmandu. I suspect not a single person has gone to bed early because it's those two
Oh no.
heroes. The two men
छ बलमा 7 रन मात्रै चाहिरहेछ
their ODI status for the first time down in Vinca.
दुई छक्का एक छक्का मात्रै हान्दैन एक छक्का मात्रै अरु एक रन त त्यसै आउँछ उनीहरूले ल्याइदिन्छन् एक छक्का
They have it all to do.
एउटा छक्का मात्रै सन्दीप लामिछाने एउटा छ त्यसले एक हानेर करण केसी जानुपर्छ करण केसीले एउटा छक्का अनि त्यसपछि टुई टुई
Wow, he went for 13 runs in his last over. It really was under the pump after being right and disciplined, and you can see now all the marshalling going on. There are fielders running everywhere. Watt is having a big say. They're settling into position now, but this is a huge over.
7 रन मात्रै चाहिरहेछ है अब 7 रन only 7 run.
Final over incoming. Ramachani taken. It's another twist. It's another turn. Munsey clings on. Oh, and KC will be stranded at the non-striker's end as Ridgen Dakal comes to the crease. You rarely keep Mark Watt wicketless in any 10-over spell, and he strikes back.
Wow. Wow. What a moment. He just pulled his length back on that occasion, but brilliant take from George Munsey. Full stretch, diving, safe pair of hands. What more can we get from this game? Amashani is almost inconsolable as he goes off. 5 runs. Karan KC down at the non-striker's end. Nothing he can do at the moment but watch.
Ridgen Dakal is going to have to play his role now with the bat in hand. He's going to have to find a way to get KC on strike, and I'd be pretty sure that KC will only try to do one thing then. He'll try to win it with a maximum. He might have as many as 4 balls to do it. If Dakal is somehow going to have to try and get any piece of bat on this ball and just sprint down the other end, it might be a case here, Mel, of tip and run.
Well, yeah, that's the wisest option, isn't it? It's just got to get bat on ball, drop it somewhere. Plenty of spaces.
For Scotland, they've got to find a way for the 4 men in the circle, at least 1 or 2 of them, to save the single.
Yep.
The man at mid-wicket is squeezing in, as is the cover fielder. That's Davidson at mid-wicket, McMullen at cover. This is the critical moment. Can Dakal manufacture a single? Down the leg side, it's going to be a wide, surely.
Oh!
Might just need a 4 now to tie the scores, KC, if Dakal can get that single. Not sure what Watt was looking for, maybe the leg stump Yorker. Here comes Watt again, 5 deliveries left, 6 to win. Not going to find a single. Great squeezing from Davidson, and a good loud call from Karan KC. No run there.
Oh boy. So that wide, still 4 legal deliveries left.
Edged away and edged for the single. Why is the man at short third so deep? It's going to give Karan KC a chance to win it. A 4 will tie it. A 6 will be a walk-off maximum. It's 5 to win. I think there's only going to be one answer here. 4s or 6s for KC, and he's going to have 3 chances to do it.
Well, pressure really all falling on Mark Watt's shoulders. We talk about Karan KC's broad shoulders. Mark Watt has got broad shoulders too. What has he got?
3 men in the deep on the leg side, 6 to win. Pumps down the ground, it's the longest ball to the ground! One bounce, falls inside the ropes, and the Nepal fans are on the pitch. They thought it was gone all the way. End result will be 2. It's going to be 3 to win. Any boundary will do now for Nepal. Just 2 deliveries left.
Oh boy. Oh, if the rest of these 2 weeks are going to be like this, Lenny, I'm not going to be able to cope. My God.
That heart rate at home, or if you're Mel Farrell, mine's pulsing up around 160. I'm not even moving. 2 balls left. It's 3 to win. Any boundary will do. It's worked into the leg side. He's going to get 1. Can he get 2? Could be a run-out opportunity. KC turns. Sharif misfields. The scores are tied. At a minimum, we're off to the super over. Nepal are at it again. And it's just 1 to win.
Well, I don't know how the players out there are feeling at the moment, what the pressure's doing to them. Little misfield as well on that last ball.
Classic Nepal game, isn't it? Exactly what you'd expect. The Stuart Law era. I hope he's had his cardiologist check him out before he's taken this role, because this is what you're in for maybe months and years of to come. The scores are tied. Nepal cannot lose this in normal time. They could win it though. Any run will do. And almost the entire field now comes in for Nepal. Well, what a game we are witnessing. An extraordinary return to ODI action after 210 days out of it. We're somehow going all the way to the 300th and final ball of the second innings, and Nepal
subscribe गर्दै जानु ल है म गरिब हो के सब्स्क्राइबरको गरिब हो म
their hands for so long. Had just kept finding a way, both when they were bowling and now when they were batting,
हिमाल
to run their way back into this game.
मेरो सब्स्क्राइब गर्दैन है म गरिब हो सब्स्क्राइबरको हजुरहरु 85 जनाले गर्दै भन्दा हा म कस्तो खुसी हुन्थे होला गर्दिनु ल
Magnificent innings from Karan KC. He's got one more job to do. He's got 1 ball left.
म सुपर ओभर भयो नि सबै देखाउँछु के कसम छ Hey, please subscribe गरिदिनु ल
cutting off the single. Just 3 remain in the deep ball on the catch. Here we go. Will it be the super over? Or can Nepal win it? It's dropped by the keeper. Given. We're off to the super over. It's given us a wide. In fact, Nepal win. Nepal win. Nepal win. They've somehow taken a win in the most remarkable of circumstances. The umpire took an eternity.
नेपालले जित्यो सब्स्क्राइब गर्दै जानु ल नेपालले जितिसक्यो 88 जनाले सबले गर्दिनु ल एक सब्स्क्राइबर त हो नि एक सब्स्क्राइब गर्दिनु नि प्लिज है जित्यो के नेपालले टुङ 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 जित गया सब जनाले सब्स्क्राइब गर्दिनु ल म सब्स्क्राइबरको गरिब हो म गरिब छु के गरिबलाई नि गर्नु पर्दैन तपाईहरुलाई हेल्प पनि त गरे त म देखाएर लाइभ देखाएर सब्स्क्राइब गर्दिनु प्लिज सबै जनाले सब्स्क्राइब गरेर मात्र आउट हुनु ल हेलो टुङ टुङ टुङ
He's given a hero's ovation. Nepal have won the game for the ages. There'll be only 1 player of the match. That man is clapping him off with cymbals. The most incredible game of cricket you will ever witness at any level. And somehow, I'm still not quite sure how. I think they've won it by just 1 wicket. I'm not sure the last wicket counts. I don't know what's just happened. But Nepal, they're winners. 2 critical points on the Cricket World Cup League 2 table.
जित्यो नेपालले जित्यो खै त मलाई सब्स्क्राइब गरेको खै गर्दिनु ल सबैजनाले नेपालले जितिसक्यो त एक सब्स्क्राइब गर्दिनु
Mass confusion reigns. I wonder if Nepal or any side ever won a game by no wickets before. We're going to call it as a win.
सबजनाले एक सब्स्क्राइब गरेर जानु ल भोलि तपाईहरुलाई आईपीएल फाइनल छ नि भोलि म तपाईहरुलाई त्यो बेला देखाइन्छु ढक ढक है बाइ गाइज म जान्छु ल मलाई सब्स्क्राइब गरेर मात्र जानु तपाईहरु सब जना गएपछि मात्रै म जान्छु ए ल प्लेयर अफ द म्याच हेर्ने ओके Player of the match herer jane la yatro bet herihalyo
All the cricket I've ever watched. Let's get another look. He's come across and has it flicked the pad, I wonder. What an incredible call from the umpire, Milne. He took an eternity to give it. And Scotland were celebrating the super over. Had just roll this replay through. Keep rolling it if we can. Vijay Dakel says, no. Look at your own umpire. He's indicating a wide. I think Scotland are going to end up winning by 1 wicket because you can't win by no wickets. Mass confusion around the ground here. And look at the pitch invasion that followed. Emotional, incredible scenes. Stuff you could not write or make up. And right now, the game, I believe, is done off the wide, so therefore the run out will not count. Both batters will end up not run out. I'd already thought we were off to the super over. I think we all need to catch our breath. Mel Farrell, what have we just witnessed?
I'm still trying to process it. But what is plainly clear is that Nepal are back. They might not have played for a long time, but boy, oh boy, when they came back, did they entertain. Every time you thought they were out of the match, they managed to land a punch and drag themselves back into it. Contributions all around. And the same must be said for Scotland, where every time you thought that they were out as well, they found a way to tighten things up. It was just a brilliant match. Incredibly entertaining contest with 2 fighters out there slugging in Scotland and Nepal. And boy, it bodes well for the rest of this week. And then the very last ball, just to think it all came down to that. You're right, they are the cardiac kids. And my heart is still thumping. And my brain is only just catching up with what has actually happened on that final ball. Brilliant entertainment. Karan KC, I said I love watching him bat. Now you know
player of the match हेर्ने अनि आउट हुनुपर्छ ल सबैजनाले सब्स्क्राइब गर्दै गर्नु त्यति बेलासम्म मेरो च्यानललाई सब्स्क्राइब गर्नु शेयर गर्दिनु लाइक गर्नु है
KC, the folk hero, at it yet again. Let's go look at the cards. That is truly one of the greatest ODIs. There's been nearly 5,000 of them in the history of this wonderful format. I'm not sure you'll see a more dramatic one than that. Nepal win, Nepal win, Nepal win. They take the win by just 1 wicket. 65 of 41 deliveries at the death from Karan KC all the way down at number 9. It's the highest score of the innings and maybe the most heroic run not out you'll ever witness from Vijay Dakel has somehow scrambled Nepal over the line.
There were the important contributions all the way through, and then for the bowlers for Scotland, well, it was Brandon McMullen who arguably had the greatest impact, even though he was expensive early, but came back to take those 3 wickets and bring Scotland back into it. Jack Jarvis and Michael Leach taking a couple each, but in the end, it was in vain, but only just.
Let's have a look at the table. All of a sudden, things starting to look a bit rosier. He said if Nepal could find a victory or 2 here in Forfarshire, that they'd be delighted. The Stuart Law era begins with a victory in the most highly dramatic of circumstances you could ever imagine. Scotland are going to question and wonder as to just how they've lost that game, but all of a sudden that gap is starting to be breached, and they've still got 7 games in hand over the vast majority of their opponents. Don't rule out another comeback for the ages in this 2nd edition of ICC Men's Cricket World Cup League 2. This is the match summary. It's going to wrap it all up. Our coverage. Nepal have taken a 1 wicket victory somehow. I'm still not quite sure how. Just confirmation from the ICC match referee that as soon as the final delivery is signalled as a wide, that automatically ends the game as a contest. Therefore, the run-out that followed from Matthew Crossan, it was given correctly by our square leg umpire Sohail Ghazi from Bangladesh, does not count. Dakel therefore remains unbeaten. KC remains unbeaten, of course, at the non-striker's end. They didn't need to run that single, and somehow Nepal have won by just 1 wicket.
Breathtaking stuff, and it is just still mind-boggling because even the players didn't realise at the time. So it did all end in quite a bit of confusion here, but those fans don't care. They're still going. It was all in vain. That wonderful 80 from Charlie Tier earlier on was the highest innings of the match, but in the end it was that 65 of 41 from Karan KC. Other important contributions as well from Bertel and Jar. That man, Karan KC, they'll be singing his name for hours here, those fans from Nepal who have graced us with their wonderful, joyous presence today. They have a lot to celebrate, and I'm sure the celebrations will be going on for hours yet.
Don't go near too far. We'll have the post-match presentation in just a few moments' time. For me, Andrew Leonard, from El Farrell, for everyone in the Cricket Club's production team and the IMG team, I want to thank you all for watching. We've seen a game for the ages here in beautiful Scotland. Nepal winning by 1 wicket. We'll find out who the player of the match is. If it's not Karan KC, I'll eat my beanie hat. And we'll hear from both captains too in just a few moments' time. Thanks so much for watching.
Player of the match. तपाईहरुलाई को लाग्छ भन्दिनु त सब्स्क्राइब गर्दिनु ल सब्स्क्राइब गर्दिनु ल सबैजनाले मैले आज 100 जना मात्रै पुर्याउनु पाए नि हुन्छ ठोक्क करण केसीले नै पायो होला ल अब सुत्नु पर्छ निन्द्रा पनि लाग्यो मलाई सब्स्क्राइब नगरेकोले सब्स्क्राइब गर्दिनु है 3 हिरो हो आजको म्याचको विनको लागि करण र गुलसन मामा र करण हो गुड गोलु मामा म भोलि नि तपाईहरुलाई ट्याक्क लाएर आईपीएल को फाइनल देखाउँछु है मेरो कामहरु सबै काम मारेर भयो नि मैले आईपीएल फाइनल देखाउँछु सबजनाले मलाई सब्स्क्राइब गर्दिनु म चाहिँ 1000 जना मात्रै पुर्याउने लक्ष्य हो युट्युबमा सुरुमा नयाँ हो युट्युबमा केही थाहा छैन मलाई सिकाइदिनु पर्छ ल थाहा भएकोले सिकाइदिनु मेरो नाम चाहिँ कस्तो लागिरहेछ मेरो नाम ठीक लागिरहेछ भने ठीक लागिरहेछ भन्नु ठीक लागिरहेछ छैन भने ठीक लागिरहेछ छैन अर्को नाम राख्नु भएन पेन्टे साइला पेन्टे साइला ठीक छैन र पेन्टे साइला त ठीक छ जस्तो लाग्छ युनिक थ्यांक यू शुभम साने म पनि हजुरलाई गर्छु ल हजुर पनि सब्स्क्राइब गर्छ नि त एक सब्स्क्राइब गरेर के सानो भयो नि त हैन अब म सधैं लाइभ आउँछु आज कति 1 घण्टा 27 मिनेट लाइभ बसे तर कति जना मान्छेहरुले हेरेर पनि सब्स्क्राइब नि नगरिकन जानुभयो के सब्स्क्राइब गर्नलाई के हुन्छ र हैन सब्स्क्राइब गरेर सानो त पक्कै भइदैन नि त एक सब्स्क्राइबर गरे नि मलाई त खुसी मिल्छ नि त भर्खर सुरु गर्न लागेको युट्युब चलाउनलाई युट्युब खोल्नलाई युट्युब अकाउन्ट खोलेको नि धेरै भएको छैन सबजनाले सब्स्क्राइब गर्दिनु न करण बब्बाल श्री खवास ओके है मलाई नि खतरा लाग्यो म त खासै क्रिकेट गेम हेर्दैन आज यतिकै जोसमै हेरेको तर रमाइलो पो हुँदो रहेछ सबै गेमहरु यतिको रमाइलो हुँदैन हामी भाग्यमानीले मात्रै देख्ने हो यस्तो गेम त हैन साथीहरु यो सब जना मेरो सब्स्क्राइबर मात्र हुनुपर्ने आहा तर आज मेरो 91 प्लस भइरा थियो मेरो भ्युअर्स मेरो सब्स्क्राइबर छैनन् के मेरो त खै के गर्नुपर्छ कसरी बढाउन मिल्छ के गर्नुपर्छ भन्दिन त गाइज म त्यही गर्छु मलाई थाहै छैन सब्स्क्राइबर बढाउनलाई के गर्नुपर्छ हजुरहरुलाई थाहा भएको आइडिया मलाई शेयर गर्दिनु न हजुरहरुको त्यो आइडियाले नि काम गर्छ के आज क्रिकेट गेम कस्तो लाग्यो ठीक छ आज क्रिकेटमा हार्यो को हार्यो स्कटल्यान्ड हार्यो म त बिजी हुन्छु हेर्न मिल्दैन टोटल्ली बसेर भोलि आईपीएल फाइनल हेर्ने भए मैले आजको गेमको त्यो एनर्जीले गर्दा मैले भोलि आईपीएल को फाइनल हेर्ने भइसके मुम्बई र पंजाब हो थाहै छैन नि मलाई त कसको खै कमेन्ट गर्दिनु त कसलाई थाहा रहेछ हेरौं भोलिको गेम कसको हो आजको गेम चाहिँ नेपालले जित्यो ल 1 विकेटले तर डेन्जर म त सुपर ओभरै हुने भो भनी सोचिरा थिए तर जित्यो नेपालले जित्यो खुसी लाग्यो मैले खासै हेर्दैन थिए मैले हेरे अनि नेपालले गर्छ कि मेरो लक लाग्छ के हो नेपाललाई भोलिको मैले आईपीएल को पुरै लाइभ देखाए नि भाइ मलाई यस्तो इनर्जी मिलेको अझ 100 जनादेखि प्लस भएको भए सब्सक्राइबर म त झन् फुलदेखि सुरुदेखि लास्टसम्म नै मेरो फेरि क्यामेरा त्यस्तो गतिलो त छैन मैले 1000 जना पुग्यो भने सब्सक्राइबर 1000 जना पुग्यो भने एउटा क्यामेरा पनि किन्ने प्लानमा छु मलाई 1000 जना मात्रै सब्सक्राइबर पुग्यो भने कसम मैले क्यामेरा किन्छु ल म भोगी हो के म क्यामेराको भोगी पैसाहरू नि छ पैसाहरू नभएर नि हैन तर मेरो सब्सक्राइबर नभएर मैले क्यामेरा किन्ने आँट नै आएको छैन प्लिज सब्सक्राइब गरिदिनु ल सबजनाले के गर्नुपर्छ सब्सक्राइब गर्नलाई त्यति मात्रै टक्क एक टच पो त नि हेलो रुपेश कहाँबाट हो नि साथीहरू अब गफ गरौँ ल मैले यति टाउको मात्रै किन देखाएको भनेर बुझ्नु ल मैले देखाउन मलाई मात्रै हेर्नु तलमा गर्मी छ के साह्रै गर्मी छ सो यता मधेस प्रदेशतिर हो नि त त्यही भएर अलि गर्मी छ यतातिर अनिबाट मैले यति मात्रै देखाएको हो टाउको मात्रै हेलो हाय मलाई सब्सक्राइब गर्नु ल सबजनाले मेरो लाइफमा फर्स्ट टाइम 91 प्लस हेरेको मान्छेहरू आमा भ्युअर्सहरू मैले यत्रो कहिल्यै देखेकै थिएन कि म लाइफमा फर्स्ट टाइम होला कस्तो मिठो आनन्द लागेको है त्यस्तो बेला त किरण हाजिर हुसैन हेलो किरण Where are you from कहाँ से है तुम भन्नुपर्छ कि आप भन्नुपर्छ र हिन्दी नै आउँदैन मलाई त कहाँबाट हो तपाईहरु कहाँबाट हो तपाईहरु भन्दिनु त सबजना आउनुहोस् अनि थोरै साथीहरु भएकोलाई सब्स्क्राइब गरिदिनु के थोरै सब्स्क्राइबरलाई के रे सब्स्क्राइब गरे अनि के हुन्छ त अलि बढी हुन्छ नि त सबैजनालाई चाहिएको भनेकै सब्स्क्राइबर हो त्यसपछि युट्युबर बन्नलाई त सब्स्क्राइबर चाहियो नि त मेन हैन र साथी हो मलाई त त्यही लाग्छ है सुरुमा सब्स्क्राइबर भयो भने पो बल्ल मजा हुन्छ अनि राम्रो क्यामेरा किन्ने राम्रो फोन किन्ने अनिबाट लाइभ आउने भ्लगहरु बनाउने म भ्लग बनाउने भनेर नि डेन्जर इच्छा लागेर युट्युब खोलेको युट्युब अकाउन्ट खोलेको युट्युब अकाउन्ट मैले खोलेको मात्रै हो तर के गर्नुपर्छ त्यो मलाई नो आइडिया हजुरहरुलाई यदि आइडिया छ भने भन्दिदा हुन्छ हजुरहरुको आइडियाले नै म सक्सेस पो हुन्छु के त म सक्सेस भए भने ल त्यो मलाई आइडिया दिने मान्छेको नाम चाहिँ मैले लाइफ टाइम बिर्सिन्न ल भन्नु ल फर्मुला के फर्मुला अब त अरु केही लाइभ हेर्ने र अरु नि लाइभ हेर्ने मैले देखाइदिन्छु नि फेरि म त अरु लाइभ हेर्ने हो रोक्नु ल मैले यहाँ सर्च गर्छु अनि अरु के लाइभ भइरहेछ कसको आयो क्रिकेट लाइभ नै हेर्ने र अरु नि हेर्ने भने ओके हेर्ने जतिले ल हाजिर गरौँ हाइलाइट हेर्ने हैन अब गफ गर्ने हो तर मलाई खै त सब्स्क्राइब गरेकै खै त मेरो सब्स्क्राइबरहरु बढेकै छैन ल मैले त दुःख गरेको त मलाई सब्स्क्राइबर बढ्ला नि त भनेर त नि हेलो मेरो दोस्तहरु सबजनाले मलाई सब्स्क्राइब गरिदिनु अनि साथीहरु कहाँबाट हो त नि म त बागलुङ हो मेरो घर चाहिँ बागलुङ हो म चाहिँ अहिले बस्नु चाहिँ यता सिराहातिर बस्छु गर्मी छ के टु मच गर्मी छ गर्मीमा पनि राति 12 बजिसक्यो नि त 12 बजिसक्यो मैले गीत गाइदिउँ लास्टमा 2 जना मात्रै भएपछि मैले खतरा गीत गाइदिएर जान्छु मलाई गीत गाउन नि आउँछ अब गीत गाउँछु भनेको झन् बढ्दै हो आज म खुसी छु मलाई के थाहा छ भने हेलो आरबिएम ब्लग्स मलाई के रे सब्स्क्राइब गरिदिनु म हजुरलाई नि सब्स्क्राइब ब्याक गरिदिन्छु ल ओके सबजनाले सब्स्क्राइब गरिदिनु आज क्रिकेट हेरेर नेपालले जित्यो खुसियालीमा मेरो 100 जना नि प्लस भइसक्यो होला जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई म जति अनेस्ट म छु त्यति अनेस्ट नै मेरो साथीहरु मेरो लाइभ हेर्ने साथीहरु त्यतिकै अनेस्ट हुनुहुन्छ मलाई ढुक्क छ किनभने म ठीक छु नि त म ठीक भएपछि मलाई दुनिया ठीक लाग्छ द्याट्स माइ नेचर मलाई यो जिन्दगीले कहाँ पुर्यायो कहिले रुवायो कहिले हँसायो आफैसँग छुट्याएर एक्लो बनायो मलाई यो जिन्दगीले कहाँ पुर्यायो भन्दै होला नि स्कटल्यान्डको टोलीहरुले मेरो भिडियोहरु नि हेर्दिनु अनि लाइक कमेन्ट गर्दिनु ल शेयरहरु गर्दिनु म भर्खर राख्न लाग्यो हो मैले त थाहै छैन मलाई युट्युब कसरी गर्ने कसरी बढाउने सब्स्क्राइबरहरु कसरी बढाउने कस्तो भिडियोहरु राख्दा ट्रेन्डिङमा आउँछ त्यो केही थाहा छैन के सो है त बाइ बाइ गाइज बाइ बाइ म जान्छु बाइ गाइज मेरो प्यारो साथीहरुलाई धेरै धन्यवाद हजुरहरुले नि मलाई धन्यवाद भन्नुभएको छ होला अनि ढुक्क छु म आशामा छु भन्नुभएछ यति बेरसम्म मैले लाइभ देखाएर मलाई थ्यांक यू नि नभन्ने कसले भन्यो खै फर्स्टमा को चाहिँ हनेस्टले को चाहिँ रहेछ ल कसले चाहिँ मलाई थ्यांक यू भन्दै रहेछ थ्यांक यू दोस्त भन्नेलाई त म माया गर्दिन्छु नि फेरि माया गर्दिन्छु नि फेरि माया गर्दिन्छु नि फेरि खै मलाई लाइभ देखाएकोमा थ्यांक यू भनेको खै खै हेलो म जान्छु भनेको के जान्छु ल सुत्नु पर्यो निन्द्राले च्याप्यो भोलि म आइपीएल देखाइदिन्छु लाइभ आइपीएल हेर्नुपर्छ भोलि ढुक्क सबजनाले है 33 लाइक आयो पक्का पनि 33 जना त सब्स्क्राइब गरिदिनु भयो होला नि गरिदिनु न यार के हुन्छ सब्स्क्राइब गरेर घटिन्छ र नि तपाईहरुको एक सब्स्क्राइबरले नि म कस्तो म के भन्नु तपाईहरु एक जना सब्स्क्राइब एउटा मात्रै सब्स्क्राइब बढ्दा त म खुसी हुने मान्छे तपाईहरु यत्रो जनाले नगर्दिदा त म त कति दुखी हुन्छु होला भन्नु त एउटा सब्स्क्राइबको लागि म रुन्छु रोइदिउँ बाइ बाइ गाइज म अब जानुपर्छ सुत्नुपर्छ कि नसुत्ने फेरि 60 ओभर भ्युज आयो भने म सुत्दैन ल 60 ओभर तर सुत्छु म सुत्नुपर्छ गुड नाइट सबैजनालाई गुड नाइट गुड नाइट, बाई बाई, बाई भन्नु, बाई भन्नु। नाम कस्तो लाग्यो मेरो? मेरो नाम कस्तो लाग्यो? कैसा लगा? कैसा लगा मेरा नाम? कोई नहीं बोलता है यार। जान्छु ल, बाई बाई मेरो प्यारो प्यारो साथीहरू। अहिलेसम्म हेरिदिने यति जनालाई त मेरो मुरी मुरी थ्याङ्क यू सो मच भन्न चाहन्छु कि मनदेखि नै है। बाई बाई।